need to hide. They can destroy anything they
Well,
want.
the ninjas would destroy the robot before the robot even knew that the ninjas were there. Oh,
Negative.
Hello and welcome to Good Game Spawn Point, the show for younger gamers by gamers. I'm Bajo.
And I'm Hex.
And I am D.A.R.R.E.N, over 9,000 times better than a ninja.
Darren, I don't think it's fair to compare ninjas to robots.
Yeah, for a start, robots can't crouch. Can you crouch? I don't think so, Darren.
Oh, you don't need to crouch when you have a multi-phase cloaking device that renders you undetectable to the human eye.
Darren, I've never even seen you use that.
Exactly.
Anyway, coming up on the show this week, we have a look at mini ninjas for Kinect.
Plus, we delve into the downloadable tactics of the RPG Rainbow Moon.
A rainbow is a meteorological phenomenon caused by light reflecting on droplets of water in the Earth's atmosphere. As our moon has neither water nor atmosphere, a rainbow moon is technically impossible.
Thanks for that, Darren.
That was very pedantic of you.
Yeah, great fact.
I'm gonna go read the news.
However, Saturn's largest moon, Titan, does have both atmosphere and surface liquid, so it's possible the game takes place there.
Titan is my favourite moon, Darren. Should we go one day?
Oh, affirmative.
Will you take me?
Of course.
Excellent.
It'll be just like our trip over the Pacific Ocean. Remember that?
Yeah, how can I forget? I don't have my favourite pants anymore. Because you threw them in the ocean to
so I
save on
did.
fuel.
Yes, to save fuel. That's what I told you, wasn't it?
Yes, it was what you told me.
Hex here at the Spawn Point news desk. A recent online auction for what was quite possibly the largest personal collection of games ever ended up selling for over $1.2 million. The collection of approximately 7,000 games boasted every game ever released for 22 different consoles. This included every game released on every Sega console ever, and every game released on Nintendo consoles from the original NES through to the GameCube, many of which were brand new and still in their original wrapping. The EVO 2012 Fighting Game Tournament has produced a brand new world champion in Street Fighter IV. South Korean player Seon-woo Lee, known by his gamer name Infiltration, used the character Akuma to beat one of the world's best players in the final held in Las Vegas. Congrats, Infiltration. The recently revealed Ouya console needed to raise almost $1 million of crowdsourced funds to go into production. However, after only hours of being listed, the Kickstarter project had reached almost $2 million from over 13,000 backers.
So what should we do when we get to Titan? Should we have a picnic?
Oh, you won't believe the quality of the grilled cheese sandwiches they have there.
Okay, well, you guys, it's time to review Mini Ninja Adventures on the Kinect.
The original Mini Ninjas was released in 2009 and was a fun action-adventure game. But now that it's been adapted into a Kinect game, it's a very different experience.
Yes, but you're still playing as Hero, who was the hero from the last game. And one day, while on his way to the dojo, he sees a shiny talisman which he can't resist stealing. But of course, it's full of evil. And it's not long before the evil escapes and your adventure to defeat it begins.
Who knows why someone left a shiny evil talisman just lying around, though?
I believe it's called a plot device, Hex.
Well, anyway, the game itself is pretty straightforward. Each of the 21 levels are made up of waves of enemies that come at you down 5 lanes. You've got to move Hero around to dodge and attack them and survive to the end.
And you get quite a few weapons and abilities to deal with all those baddies. You're first introduced to your trusty sword and the ability to kick enemies away, but soon get a bow and arrow as well as the one weapon that no ninja can live without, the shuriken. And finally you get access to some magical spells as well, like Storm Push, Lightning, and Earthquake.
You'll need to constantly switch between your weapons, since only the bow and arrow can attack enemies on the back row, while the shurikens can reach guys in the middle. You'll also free your mini ninja friends as you progress throughout the adventure, and once you've filled a ninja meter, you can call them in for backup by shouting, "Ninja!" Each enemy that you defeat drops some experience that you can spend to improve your abilities, as well as magic bottles to charge your magic meter. And occasionally you get power-ups such as invincibility or extra damage.
Things start off simple, but soon get quite difficult once they start throwing different combinations of enemies at you. There's wizards who can protect and boost other enemies, shielded enemies you need to stun first, sneaky ninja who can disappear, and exploding ninja you have to kick away, to name a few.
Yeah, and after a while they start throwing so many different types of combinations of enemies at you that it becomes a bit of a puzzle trying to work out how to take them out.
And the Kinect is quite responsive, only occasionally struggling with a few of the controls, which are kept quite simple. To move Hero, you actually run around from left to right in your room. You change weapons by reaching behind your back with your bow and arrow on your left shoulder and your sword on your right. Well, you have to put your arms out to either side for shurikens.
And most of the actions that you do in the game are pretty natural, such as swiping with a sword, or throwing shurikens, or kicking with your foot. But the bow and arrow is a bit weird because you pull it down like that and then you kind of just cool your armpit to fire the arrows. Doesn't really make sense.
I like the movements you do for magic the most because you start off by putting your hands together like this and then you push out from you to do a storm push, or down from the sky to do lightning, or you jump to pull off an earthquake. It just felt really satisfying to do.
Yeah, and Darren, I thought this would be the perfect game for you since you're so good at sliding around, but then I remembered, of course, you can't kick.
Oh.
This game is another flagrant example of the Kinect's discrimination against mobility-based plated robots. However, my sliding and sword swiping skills are second to none.
Actually, you did pretty well there, Darren. One thing I noticed that was a bit awkward was now and then when you move to another lane to attack a ninja, they would move to the other lane. So you end up doing this whole awkward, like when you're passing someone in the street and you walk in front of them and you don't know which way to go, like, whoa, after you. Yeah, that happened a fair bit. Just stay in the same lane, ninjas.
That would have been too easy though, Bajo. I did think the mini-games were a bit pathetic though. I mean, I would have expected something a little bit more than just timed levels against training dolls, but anyway, final thoughts, Badge?
Well, I didn't have high hopes, but by the end of it, I was having a little bit of fun here and there, so I'm giving this 6 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Yeah, it's a great distraction for any mini ninjas that might be in the house, but after you've completed this adventure, I can't really see any reason to go back, so I'm giving it 6 as well. Well, I guess it's time to go off to the Ask Good Game desk.
Oh, yes.
Darren, after last week, I think we were all agreed that you're not coming.
Yeah, stay here.
Oh, affirmative.
Yeah, so stay.
Cloaking device engaged. Right, off to the Ask Good Game desk. Ha 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 ha.
Okay, look, I'm just going to take the phone off the hook before we get started, so then Darren can't contact us at all. It'll be
excellent idea.
Completely Darren-free
I'm going to pull out
session.
the plug. I'm going to pull out the plug.
Yeah. Oh! Okay.
Who's first?
Well, we've got this one from Green Lantern, who lives in space, which is outside Australia.
Obviously. Can you hear something? What is that noise?
Can't really hear anything.
Oh, what just happened?
I don't know. It's ow! Did you just hit me?
No.
I swear you just hit me. I felt something on my back. It was weird.
Wasn't me.
Is there going to be a Lego Green Lantern game? Because I saw on internet. P.S. Bargo is a noob and Hex is the best.
Well, Mr. Lantern, I don't know who this Bargo is, but he sounds like a noob. But no, there hasn't been a Green Lantern game announced at all for the LEGO series. Clearly, he's not as awesome as Bats.
Well, Green Lantern is playable in LEGO Batman 2 DC Superheroes though, so no doubt that's what you saw on the internet.
Yeah, he's terrible though. He's not fun at all.
Yeah.
Can't even use his ring really.
His whole point is that you can make these awesome, hard-like constructs, and you can't really do any of that.
Can't do anything.
Anyway, moving on to this one from a mayor who is somewhere in the Australian Capital Territory, but we don't know where.
Could be anywhere, no idea. Hex, did you just poke me in the ear? Are there any dinosaur games on the 3DS? Please tell me or I will become a noob.
There sure is, Amir. It's called Combat of Giants Dinosaur 3D. It's basically a fighting game with dinosaurs.
It sounds awesome, but it's actually not that great. It's basically one game repeated 4 times and it's very easy, but it still has dinosaur battles and you can almost never go wrong with that.
Let's move on to this one from Teehee in Melbourne, Victoria. Will you be able to customize your car on Most Wanted, the new version that is coming out this year, just like the old version by EA? Bajo, I know you like doing faces, so try doing these 2 as fast as you can. Well, Teehee, we're happy to say that the developer has confirmed that there will indeed be some car customization.
On your head.
That was on my head.
On your head.
Did you put it there?
No.
Some car customization in the new Most Wanted, although it will be a little bit more limited than you might expect.
Yeah, so apparently you won't be tricking out your ride with body kits, huge exhausts and fully spoilers and that kind of thing, but you will be able to upgrade suspension, car tyres, lower your car's weight and improve its strength for better ramming.
Did it fall from the ceiling, maybe?
Maybe it was always there and you just never noticed before. Sometimes that happens to me with bits of chicken in my mouth and I go, oh, it's a bit of chicken.
I don't think so.
Happens all the time.
Anyway, I'm guessing you'll probably be able to change the colour too. Anyway, next we have this one from Alex in Sydney, New South Wales.
Can you hear that ringing? Didn't you take the phone off the hook? Hang on.
Where is the phone? We had it right here. You unplugged it, remember?
It's been plugged back in. It's had a vibrate function added to it and... Hello?
Who was it?
It was a ghost.
Ah! Was it the boogeyman?
He said he's coming for you.
Ah!
He did actually say that, though. I wasn't kidding. Please answer. I'm begging you, please. I will not survive if you do not answer. Okay, here's my question. I wanted to know what is the very best heat thingy for Minecraft. I mean coal and stuff. Huh?
Well,
What is this?
who put that there? Are you trying to redecorate, Bajo?
No, are you?
No?
Well, I'm not a redecorator. You're the redecorator.
Well, back to your question. Coal is pretty good for furnaces and heating things since it's easy to find and lasts for a while. It's even possible to turn wood into charcoal by firing it in a furnace. And charcoal is basically exactly the same as coal. Wood is the worst though, it burns up really quickly.
But technically, the best heat thingy is a bucket full of lava. You can put one of them in a furnace and it will fire things for ages. By comparison, you get 100 blocks smelted out of a bucket of lava compared to just 8 from a piece of coal. The downside is you will lose your bucket as well, which means wasting some valuable iron, and you also have to find some lava.
Yeah, so it's easiest just to stick with the coal, we'd say, unless you have loads of iron to spare. But anyway, let's move on to this one from Mickey Boss in Melbourne, Victoria.
Lava's fun to say, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Lava.
Ow, just pull my hair.
Nope. Lava. Mr. Lava. Oh, ow.
Hi, I just want to know when Lego City Undercover comes out, what consoles it will come out on. P.S. Darren is a noob from Noobland. Mickey Boss out. Well, there is no exact release date yet for Lego City Undercover, but from what we know, it's due to be released towards the end of this year for both the Wii U and the 3DS. But that's it, there won't be a Wii version or one for the 360 or PS3.
And they haven't actually said that it's going to be a launch title for the Wii U, but we've got a feeling it might be, so whenever Nintendo announced the launch date for the Wii U, chances are we think that's when Lego City Undercover will come out too. But that's just a big guessy guess though.
Yeah, it's an educated guess, but let's move on to this one now from 030 in I Have a Face. Yeah. Which is in New South Wales, apparently.
Whoa!
How is it ringing if it's not plugged in?
Should I answer it, Hex? Okay, I'm gonna answer. I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna prepare myself. I'm prepared. Hello, Bajo speaking.
Hello, Bajo. It's Darren. How are you?
What's happening, Darren? I'm good. Hey, whoa! You're a bit loud, Darren. I think you're a speakerphone.
I can hear that.
Do you need any help from me?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll be on standby if you need any help.
Okay,
Okay, thanks, Darren.
Darren.
That's quite polite, isn't he?
Notice anything strange happen on the set?
No, actually, everything's been fine.
Hang up, Hex. Where's that coming from?
Bajo, I'm really freaked out by this.
Me too. First the phone rings and it's Darren, he's polite, and then there's a ghost impersonating Darren. Hello, GGSP. Can you please give me some Tropico 4 tips because I can't get past the ... tutorial. P.S. Darren could try to laser me, but I would deflect it with a mirror. We sure can, 030, but don't feel too bad if you're struggling. Tropico can be quite complicated, and it's easy to get stuck with no money and a bad economy. But there's a few things you can do to help make things a little bit easier.
Yeah, first of all, don't skimp on garages. Since everyone in Tropico is an actual person, if they end up somewhere on the island and can't get a car nearby, then they'll have to walk home, which takes them ages. So try and make sure that there is always a garage nearby to keep things flowing smoothly.
Also, make sure you focus on basic jobs first that don't require an education. Try and get a good range of basic exports. If you've got the minerals on the island, then it's always a good idea to set up mines early on too. And make sure you've got a few farms making cash, crops like sugar, coffee, and tobacco.
Ranches are great too, since they only need a few people to run and can bring in some decent cash. And always keep an eye on your population levels. There's no point in building new jobs if there's not enough people to work there.
That's true. And it's important to get your people educated once you've got a bit of money coming in. You'll need high school and college grades graduates to start bringing in the big money from the factories and oil refineries.
And once you've got a few factories up and running, you should be swimming in cash in no time. So good luck with it, 030. But moving on to this one from Jacob in Perth, Western Australia.
Hex, do you say garage or garage?
I say garage.
I say garage.
Garage, I think, well, garage is like English.
Yeah.
Garage is American. And
No. Garage. Not garage. Garage.
Yeah, it's American. With a weird voice. Hi, GGSP. I got Kerbal Space Program.
Program. I would like to know how to get more pats for the game and how to you save the game without lossing my ships. Thanks, GGSP. P.S. Darren, don't shoot me.
Where's that? Who read the letter, Hex?
That sounded like Darren.
Sounded a bit like Darren.
That was weird.
Oh. Shenanigans going on.
Well, Jacob, it's easy enough to find extra parts to download online. If you just do an internet search for Kerbal Space Program parts, you should find a few websites with extra parts that you can download and try out. Some replicate real spaceships like the NASA Space Shuttle, and some are just completely silly like the Doctor Who TARDIS. Silly but awesome.
Yeah. They're pretty simple to install too. Usually all you have to do is find your Kerbal Space Program folder and extract the downloaded parts into the parts folder in there. And if you've done it right, then you should just see the parts in your game the next time you load it up.
And it's easy to save your ships. Just click on the save file in the top right when you're in the hangar, and then later click on load to load them up.
But you can't actually save your flights in the free version at the moment. But if you've pre-ordered and donated some cash for the most current version, then that will save your flights automatically, and then you can even launch multiple missions at once.
Okay, well, I think we have time for one more, and it's from Shoop de Whoop, who is in The Fishy, which is in New South Wales.
Shoop de whoop! Shoop de whoop!
Hey GGSP, I remember you mentioning a Super Smash Bros.-like game for Sony. Will Crash Bandicoot appear on it? If so, yes! After 2 years. If not, Sony, why you no bring back Crash Bandicoot? From the laser-firing internet meme. Well...
Okay, this is the last question, Hex, and then we're getting out of here.
Agreed. Well, Shoop de Whoop, they haven't revealed all the characters in the game yet, and so far they haven't confirmed if Crash Bandicoot will be appearing in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. Where's your jacket?
I don't know, but I'm chilly. But don't go firing your laser just yet, because we think there's a very good chance he'll make an appearance. Firstly, it makes a lot of sense, since he's a classic character who was born on the PlayStation, and he'd have some pretty good moves in a brawler.
And secondly, there was a listing online which showed all the voice actors for the game, one of which was none other than Crash Bandicoot. That listing has since been removed, but it's an encouraging sign that he will show up.
Yeah, but of course, until he's officially announced as a playable character, it's just an unconfirmed rumor, so fingers crossed.
Yeah, anyway, that's all the time we have for this week,
Yeah.
and thank goodness, because
Goodbye.
I really want to get out of here.
Cloak disengaged. Well, that went well, I think. Back to the den of gaming.
That was a weird-ass good game, Hex.
Strange things happening.
There's some creepy things, and now the chairs have moved.
What's happening with this?
I think there's a ghost in the ABC. There's a
weird
ghost
going
being
on.
haunted.
Oh,
Ah, right. Where's Darren?
I don't know.
Cloaking device disengaged.
It's amazing.
Hey, Darren.
Okay, well, let's get on with the review. Yeah. Rainbow Moon is a tactical fantasy RPG that follows the story of Baldrin. He's a valiant knight who's tricked into a portal by a long-time enemy and finds himself teleported into a mysterious land. To make matters worse, lots of nasty monsters begin pouring out of the portal as well, so Baldrin must slay the beasts and find a way to get back home.
The tactical RPG is quite a complicated genre. It involves a lot of character and combat stats, a lot of grinding, and turn-based combat. Fortunately, Rainbow Moon eases you into the battles gently and shows you the ropes as you go.
Yeah, if you are new to this kind of genre, Rainbow Moon is a great place to start. You begin the game with some very basic equipment and single move attacks. Running into enemies within the world will trigger an encounter. Once this happens, you take turn moving about the board in a grid, a bit like a game of chess. If you move directly in front of an enemy, however, they're going to be able to get the first hit in. So often it's best to get close to them, defend your position, and then let them come to you.
Yeah, unfortunately early battles are quite dull because you can only perform one action per turn, like move a space, attack, or consume a potion, that sort of thing. But as you move through the world, slaying beasts and completing quests for the citizens of Rainbow Moon, you'll start to earn Rainbow Pearls, which you can use to increase your player stats. You can increase your speed, strength, and defense, but putting points into things like luck will increase the chance of you getting in a critical hit, which can make or break a fight.
Come on! Hex!
These kinds of games are known for being quite repetitive, but for players willing to commit to the long haul, there's over 100 hours of gameplay here as you gain in strength and hone your tactical ability. Also, enemies vary in strength, so while an encounter will tell you how many enemies you'll be facing, it doesn't tell you what type they'll all be. Often you can be surprised by a large group of heavy hitters and be overwhelmed.
These games are also known for being pretty punishing, but I think Rainbow Moon has done a good job at being forgiving for risky moves and mistakes. You can use a turn to escape from a battle at any time, only losing the XP you gained during that fight. But if you die altogether, you simply respawn right before the battle with a tiny bit of health anyway. So there's very little to lose.
Yeah, also you can save your game at any time, which may not sound like much, but these games have been notorious in the past for not allowing you to save your progress, so I was quite grateful for that. After what seems like an eternity of square-by-square battles and completing a few fetch quests to retrieve items like ladders that'll allow you to pass into new areas, you'll start to level up enough to increase your combat abilities and movement. You'll eventually be able to make 3 turns per round, and you'll also pick up additional skills which require mana to use, but have much more heavy-hitting attacks.
Yeah, and this is where combat gets really interesting, because some attacks can only attack the square in front of you, while others can attack diagonally, so you have to start planning your moves ahead, and it's quite fun thinking about all of that. It really is like a game of chess, isn't it? And you have to get into that headspace of being prepared for what's going to happen further down the track.
Venturing into dungeons, leveling up, and following your main quest line will finally see you teaming up with other characters in the game to fill out your party. Your first companion is a ranged adventurer who will make battles far more complex and interesting, as you not only have to factor in their safety, but their contribution to the fight.
Yes, Barjonia, for example, cannot attack an enemy directly in front of her. She needs to be more than one space behind.
Barjonia?
Yeah, I named her after you. She also has some really heavy-hitting bow attacks, and they have quite a wide range on them, but getting them lined up can be quite tricky. Especially since moving her around wastes valuable attack turns, and when you have upwards of 8 enemies all having turns to attack you before I or she can get a hit in, the results can be pretty nasty if you don't plan it well.
I feel like we barely scratched the surface of this game, Hex, and yet it took us so long to get as far as we did. It's quite common for these games to have such a slow start, but I think a lot of gamers will get a little bit bored initially and maybe not continue because of that, and it's such a shame. Visually, though, it's quite colourful and cartoony. I liked the art style.
You just can't rush the combat though, can you? You won't be strong enough to progress. You really do need to keep grinding through all these turn-based battles until you can fill out your party enough to get to the good, complex, meaty stuff. It just takes so long to progress.
It does, and like we said, that will bother some people, but I find with these games, eventually I start getting into the zone and I just lose so many hours into them, so I had a pretty good time with this. I'm giving it 7 out of 10 rubber chickens.
It's 6 from me. Well, Spawnlings, that's all the time we have for this week.
Yes, but coming up on next week's show, we're going to get our bow and arrows out for Brave. Now, it is a movie tie-in game, but maybe this time it won't be completely terrible and horrible.
Yeah, maybe. Any game with archery in it's got an extra point in my book. We'll also be charging up the 3DS for the music-inspired Final Fantasy title, Theatre Rhythm.
They spelled theatre wrong.
Oh. It's intentional, Darren. Games sometimes use funky spellings of words and things.
Maybe along with noobs, I should add grammar and spelling crimes to my laser list.
What sort of laser would that be, Darren?
Syntax laser.
Darren, that weird is laser. Darren, that's a weird laser.
Okay, well, more of that to look forward to, I guess. Until next time, gamers, may all your games be good ones. Hex out.
Banjo out.
Darren out.
My mouth is numb.
Really?
Yeah, that's a numbing feeling with the syntax
Well, you
laser.
go to the dentist now and you can get some work done.
Get some. Don't even need the dentist numbing because it's already numb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I could just go like this and it won't hurt.